becoming somewhat of a how shall we say, a custom, a thing that you do all the time. What do you call a thing that you do all the time?
Routine.
Yeah, kind of just starting with a sound check and setting up the gear. So, are we balanced here?
I believe
I don't think we're balanced color wise at all.
Oh.
And then we got the Mukjung behind us. That's not in the right place at all, right? Are you?
Yeah, let me move that.
You gonna move it? All right.
Uh-huh.
I know. We've both been having one of those days, where I have a funny feeling that one of those days, I should put my headphones on. Oh, I can't put my headphones on with my cowboy hat on. That's the issue. Oh, man. All right. So much for the cowboy hat. Hey, everybody. This is Wing Chun Talk. And am I peaking again? I think I am peaking. I'm gonna not peak today. This is Wing Chun Talk. I'm your host. Oh, I see I'm peaking. This is Wing Chun Talk. I'm your host, Sifu Z.
I'm Johan.
That's Johan, the co-host, and the superpower here at the Colorado Quan. And yeah, geez, look, I keep clipping. See how it goes into orange and stuff there? So I'm just going to turn it down a little bit more. There we go. That's it. I think that'll do. Well, you give me a test one, too.
Yeah, test one. Testing.
Get closer. There you go.
All right.
Yeah. So this is episode 8 of Wing Chun Talk. And we got a comment on our last Wing Chun Talk. I don't need these. There we go. Oh, there we are. That's feeling good. It's hard to feel good under the spotlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a comment. I don't know. Did you see it?
No, I did not.
Well, you won't see it because I erased it.
Oh.
Yeah. It was just like a sarcastic emojicons. A string of sarcastic emojicons.
Oh.
It almost hurt my feelings.
Okay. No, I didn't get a chance to see that.
The one thing that always saves me from having my feelings hurt when people make, negative comments on our videos is that those people that are commenting rarely have a profile icon. So they're saying what they're saying as cowards.
Right. Hiding behind.
Yeah. And so I immediately, to my bone, to my core, have no effect.
Right. Yeah.
They don't affect me emotionally in any way whatsoever. I mean, if it right, and you see, wow, who made that comment, right? And you look and you see, and they actually have a profile and all that. Well, then I might take it to heart.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
maybe.
You've been online so many years now.
Yeah.
So you must have gotten a lot of different comments over the years.
I tell you, in the beginning, when you would get into the text wars and email wars, and yeah, oh man, I'm surprised that I can still talk to some of those people.
No, wow.
I've had some. I remember my first one was with a rock star that I know, and I had criticized him in a negative manner, or something. I don't even remember what it was about. but it inevitably was a learning lesson. But he waged a campaign against me with all of his rockstar fans.
Ooh.
And yeah, it was ugly.
How long did this go on for?
Well, I mean, I don't know, maybe a week or two. But then we didn't talk to each other for quite some time. And finally we did talk to each other. And we actually interviewed each other on an early podcast. And so we interviewed each other, and we're going to mutually use. And my audio didn't work. So he didn't talk to me again. My God, it's amazing how loud this is, how loud it's getting. 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, good. Better?
Yeah, that's better. Maybe I don't need to be right up on the mic or something. But yeah, it was amazing how long he didn't talk to me again after that. And since then, we've had superficial contact. He actually mastered one of my songs.
Oh.
About a few years back. He mastered one of my songs and asked that I not give him credit for it. He's like, do not mention my name. So ever since he did that, I have not been mentioning his name. So there you go.
Tonight either.
Yeah, I won't tonight, nor will I ever, until instructed to do otherwise.
Right. No, I remember you took down your Wing Chun videos. Do you go public with them first and then due to a bunch of comments and negativity, you decided to go private? I think this was in 2008 or something. Online with you again after training with you on Hawaii, and you don't remember exactly, but you said we decided to do our videos for the non-public so we can avoid all that.
Maybe. I got to be honest, I don't recall ever taking videos down because of negative responses, simply because, again, I don't kind of really care. They rarely come from, credible people.
Yeah.
But I do recall over the years back and forth kind of taking the videos off, setting them private.
Right.
Yeah. And, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good topic of discussion because we were talking about that in training, or we have talked about that in training. And that is how over the years things change. Right. We've had one of our students sort of bring up, maybe even criticize, right, that, well, that's not how we used to do it.
Right.
And I always say, well, one, it's been a while, and so that might be a memory thing, or two, you might be right. We might not have done it that way. It's like anything, man. Anything that's alive,
right?
And that is, as time goes by, your perspective changes.
Yeah.
Your view on something changes.
Yeah.
In Wing Chun, a lot of times the function changes. The functionality, your preferred functionality.
Yeah, preferred functionality.
Yes. So the videos that were, videos that get put up online, eventually, to me, kind of go, the eventually the expire. That's the word I'm looking for. They kind of have an expiration date almost. Because especially with Wing Chun, because it's the details that define a practitioner's Wing Chun. So, it's really painful to watch videos that are a few years old. And not all of them, of course, because things don't change that much, but enough changes, and some things change that are big enough that it's just too cringy, to watch a video on a topic that you have much more insight on now that time has gone by,
right?
And that you'll have even more insight on as more time goes by. I've been asked how come my form online, and I do kind of, if I'm trying to teach a class or something like that, I'll sometimes have my whole form online, but I don't have a form online. Like here's Sifu Z's form,
right?
And it's just for that reason. They expire. And so if you want to see my most recent form, you gotta come train with us.
It makes sense. I like that approach. Absolutely.
Heck, Chris Chan, I don't think he's done form more than once or twice the years that I've trained with him. So
you remember you telling us that you never seen him do form. But the sandbag was always something he would share, right?
So I don't know if he does form or not. I would assume he does, and then you also have the thing of always doing form, always walking around with compression and always doing dynamic tension while you're awake. So to a great extent, it's kind of overkill. Not overkill, but I mean, if you're already doing it, then why do you have to practice with everybody else, right? So I understand that and I get that. But I just like practicing with you guys because it's I like with you, I enjoy doing it, and that it's not always like that. Sometimes I will kind of stop doing form with you guys so I can focus on instructing you guys, like looking directly at you while you're doing your form and calling out the things that you need to do. And so that's hard to do if I'm doing that for myself, right? Because you can walk around with compression and dynamic tension, but doing form allows you to really concentrate your focus on it. And so, you get a nice little boost, a nice little workout. So let me see. We got a couple more scooters coming.
That's right.
Next
couple of days.
No. I think by the end of the month / beginning of the month.
16 today.
Yeah.
All right.
And so we got a dirt scooter. Hey. Oh my gosh. This is every episode, isn't it? Okay, this segment of Wing Chun Talk is brought to you by Luna. She's talking to all you dogs out there, all you DOWGs.
So scooters, this is the non-electric, the off-road, the exercise one.
It's sort of a replacement for riding skateboard, which I've ridden skateboard my whole life, and I purposely left my skateboard behind because I was suffering from too many jujitsu injuries. And so I had to force myself to just heal. So I'm all healed up from those more or less. And now I want to skate. But I'm thinking, I don't really think I'm at the age where falling too many more times is a good thing.
Well, if you feel that, that's just
yeah.
Take that as a sign, and you're going into the scooter world now.
So yeah, and of course, falling when you skate means tumbling forward, and usually when you fall when you skate, it's because the front wheels get caught on something. Now, I've been using a Carver skateboard, which is like a has kind of a pivoting action on the trucks, and this way and this way. So it's almost like old school when we used to ride around with super loose trucks and used to be able to pump the board.
I've seen that. I was never skating myself, but I've seen that.
Yeah. And so these new trucks were really great. And so it's not that I'm going to stop that, but the action, the surf action on the front actually allows you to kind of get over little rocks and little cracks in the road and kind of just work with them.
Makes it a little smoother.
Yeah. And so I don't even really remember having any significant falls on the skateboard. However, since I don't have one, and I certainly don't want to buy another skateboard, and then since we got the electric scooters, the electric ones, now there's no possibility of exercise with those electric scooters.
Well, 4 or 5 hours on them,
Yeah. If you
feel like you've done something.
If you do time on them, you certainly get a little bit of a workout, but
they're pretty nice and lacy.
Yeah. Especially the better we get riding the electric ones, man, because you get all loose, right? And that's how you're supposed to be. Yeah. So I decided to get a couple scooters for us to go out and get some exercise on. Right. And I got one street scooter and one dirt scooter. And then we can decide how we feel about those things, and then devil even further. I mean, I think the thing is scooters. When you purchase a scooter, there's like this real fine film of like dust on the scooter, and what does it addicts you to scooters. You become addicted to scooters and make you want to buy more and more scooters, like right away. Like it's like cocaine. Yeah. As soon as you do it, you just want more. And so that's what's going on.
Right.
There's this scooter thing. And it's kind of funny because I think there was maybe a height of scooters happened like in 2017, maybe. It's rather that, or it's still climbing. The popularity of it is still climbing.
But it seemed like it was a peak then. But it might be one of those when it comes back too. Yeah, here in Denver, you'd see those rentals all over.
The electric scooters.
Yeah, scooters. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about regular scooters. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there was a wave of popularity that died down or if they are continuing on a rise, because there's things to be said about having handlebars that you can lift up and jump over obstacles, and
Oh yeah,
being able to over stuff, especially if you can't ollie. See, that's the thing. If you've the time to learn ollies, then and you can do them in your sleep, and you just ollie up over stuff
Right.
all day long. Ollie.
Yeah, I never got that good. All it was frustrating for me. I stopped skateboarding, but I did into you still jump over curves, easy.
Yeah.
So that was more my thing.
So that's it's fun. It's cause I've never scootered. I never had like a manual scooter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God, it's horrible.
Right. Small, mini, rattling.
Yeah. But razors have, the scooters have come a long way since the Razor. And I think even Razor probably has upgraded their product, but seem to, specialize in sturdy scooters that you can bash around in the park.
Right. Right.
So, it's strange. The popular. I mean, it's weird because right now we can't even go to a skate park and really get a good assessment.
Putting up my friend who does jiu-jitsu called me they started training now again.
Oh,
Their
really?
schools start opening up, and
Wow.
so I think it's a skate park probably open now. We can go check it out. That one I took you
and
to.
the jiu-jitsu is doing their thing now.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
All right, let's keep an eye on that, because if the warning is down, or whatever, the alert, the heck would you call it?
I don't know. We have to look this up because it's still the masks, it's still the distancing. So I don't know how the jiu-jitsu.
Okay, if you still have the masks and the social distancing, then how in the world would you do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, so we got to look it up.
I mean,
because I heard something about bars being open, but again. So don't quote me.
Wow,
it seemed like it's starting to loosen up a little bit. That's the Colorado thing, local Denver thing, and I don't know.
Well, we're gonna have to do a little nighttime
night
and to see what's going on. Well, maybe we'll take night off. Maybe like a Friday night. We'll do a Friday night thing. Maybe. I don't know. Being and inhaling each other's smoke.
Yeah, that's catching up to do.
Yeah. So, man, we both, but I don't know if we both woke up. Notice we're not doing coffee either.
No.
Yeah, not after yesterday's debacle of spilling it. So, I said so way too many times. If you'd like to join us training, we train almost every night. And you can join us over at patreon.com/Sifu Z. Or if you need more information, you go to Sifu Z. If you enjoy the show, not this particular show, maybe you liked another show, you can over at paypal.me/Sifu Z. You can hear my music over at sifuzmusic.wordpress.com. And what I mean by music is music that I've written and recorded just for you. You can even buy a CD and buy, you can buy. And then, of course, we have our other podcast, which includes a good amount of my music, which is Dirty Radio. You can find that over at anchor.fm/integrity. We'll be sure to have the links to Wing Chun. if it's not done in the description right now, he's working on it. And it will be up soon. Yeah, we have to sort of catch up to the video after we do them. And we tried doing the transcript thing, but you know what would be interesting? If you just used YouTube's transcript as the description.
Oh, yeah, you want to try that once? Yeah. Wow.
It's
Yeah,
like,
I'll start reading that now.
it's like, okay, robots, if that's what you want to do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
If that's how you're comprehending, and think about it. How many people meta their videos, have descriptions and complete descriptions and keywords or transcriptions of their actual descriptions, not robot transcriptions. Not a lot of people do.
Okay.
So think of right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and there was a video regarding AI and how they were freaking out because AI, is like making sense and talking back and forth. And then they had two AIs talking to each other. And what started to freak them out was that they started communicating fluently, but in some other language.
Wow.
Like it's sort of like a made up, or, I didn't get that far in the video.
Wow. Yeah.
But I could see where that would come from, right? From transcribing videos.
Oh yeah. No,
online.
you don't understand what it says.
Right.
What?
Well, but they might have assigned as an artificial intelligence meaning to a misunderstanding, a common misunderstanding, something. That's sort of interesting. That leads us to some Wing Chun talk.
All right.
Which is, and we've kind of been talking about it already. We've talked about it since last night. We mentioned it here in this episode, and that is things change. The old thing, you tell a story and they tell somebody and they tell somebody, and then it comes around 50 people or 100 people or so. Completely different story. Yeah. And then you also have that happening in your own perspective. Hopefully your own perspective is evolving and you're gaining more depth and more substance in your perspective, hopefully.
Yeah, you got to be open for it.
Yeah. And we've kind of talked about this before, where there are certain people that attain a high level, but then ride on that level for the rest of their lives. And so they're never trying to get more depth.
Right.
And they're not getting more depth because they're at the height of understanding of a particular thing. Maybe they're a professor or scientist or whatever, mathematician. So how do you get more depth when you're already at the highest? Well, we talked about that. It's a matter, and I'm using now computer terminology in order to make this analogy, and that is low-level computer programming versus high-level computer programming, and how we were talking about this last night,
right?
How the low-level programmers that, C+ and BASIC and all those complicated languages, right, they're very difficult to learn. It's like it is like language, right?
Sure.
Well, some are more, operating systems are created with these programs, I suppose, right? So anyway, I might get in trouble talking too deep in that area because I really don't know. I'm not a low-level programmer, but I am a high-level programmer. Do websites and stuff like that, right? And again, this is all geek words,
right?
I'm having troubles talking, but
Another thing of the low level being more difficult, more detail.
Yes,
right?
yes. And so
Complicated.
And what I've noticed in the field is that a lot of times these low level programmers scoff or marginalize the high level programmers that did this easy HTML or CSS stuff. And of course, that's kind of silly, right? But they do, right? They're the full spectrum. Thank you. Of that which is the computer. They make these programs, and then all these people get to do stuff
right
off of these programs. So there may be even a little bit of ego or narcissism going on there, right?
Could be.
Yeah. And then I also say the other way around, a lot of high-level programmers don't appreciate or don't have the capability of appreciating the low-level programmers and how significant they are in the equation. They wouldn't be able to do what they did without the low-level programmers, right? And so you have this non-appreciation going in both ways.
They both depend on each other.
Right. And so it's very intelligent level of proficiency and skill, expert level, as something appreciate and keep. Well, you got to go to you got to appreciate the simpler stuff, right? So I think I was saying this better yesterday, but that's okay.
Yeah, you leading up to Wing Chun now?
Yeah, well, that's
martial arts perspective, high level.
Yeah, the Wing Chun talk series. How we should look at all those martial arts, the traditional martial arts, as low level, because it's very much so. Those traditional martial arts usually have like 600 forms.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got 3 forms.
It's perfect for me. That's what might be one of the reasons too. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
And it's still spent, of course, a lifetime on it, because as we know.
Yeah. Right.
But as far as learning the forms and the techniques, movements, if you want to say so, this feels so more compact.
Yeah. And the terminology, I think, is really good, because this computer terminology refers or works really well with Wing Chun, because when people think of us and we're talking about high-level martial art, they may get offended. Talking about, you guys got 3 forms.
Is that we can learn it fast.
So we do learn it fast because there's only 3 forms, and it means you get to use it. But then, like we talked about, it is a very long and difficult road of going deeper in the Wing Chun. You can easily run up into a wall where you no longer understand, or you just can't seem to go further with it. And a lot of guys depart from there. I
was like that for a long time, and now when you came out 2 months ago, it's like I'm finally climbing that plateau.
Yeah,
I spent a
climbing
lot
over
of
that
time
wall.
like that wall.
Yeah.
He's still training, still fun, but all this doubt, self-doubt.
Yeah, and it turns out that even though Wing Chun has 3 forms, it's actually complex because it's short. It's shortcutting that stuff that came before. So instead of doing 600 forms, you've condensed it, which means it's kind of like a zip file. You condensed it, but when you want to kind of appreciate that you have the file on your desktop, I think I meant for
Can you learn the system fast?
and really mastering it, of course, can take a long time, maybe a lifetime, right? But to learn and be able to function with it as a self-defense and as a meth fitness is just undeniable. It's a wonderful thing. Chris Chan says, Jewel, China. Yeah.
How can you not agree with that? Well, don't win this jewel or the jewel. Yeah. Amazing stuff.
So back to this idea of being able to appreciate the high level and low, and looking at high level as being simple and low as being very complex. I think that helps keep the ego in check when we're thinking about things.
Absolutely.
Right? Because as a Wing Chun practitioner, I have a profound respect for the traditional martial arts that came before it, and even the modern martial arts, because in many ways, the modern martial arts are a reflection of the traditional martial arts. Yeah. Wing Chun is such a you would think a departure. So we'll say the word departure. Not folks out, right? It's created very specific and important increments to focus on. What's this? And what's this? All the stuff between, right? Because all of that matters. But there were and are certainly critical points that we can sort of fast. Then as we learn and as we commit to training, we can sort of learn more. Really similar to this or the martial art. Right. The function of the or jujitsu,
the relationships, really.
Yeah. And you so at first you just learn the the fast track of martial art, Wing Chun, functionality and the fitness and the self-defense aspect. But then you get deeper and really explore those postures in relation to martial arts around the world. The directions. Fixed number. Then the right. I mean, that's like
I use my one for stand up, but then
right. Yeah. No, your comprehension of Wing Chun may have. It's why you train. You're always trying to get smarter and figure out more, get just a little bit more of a glimpse.
Yeah. As you to talk about the nuances.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah. So, and you don't need to cross train in order to appreciate the stuff. That's another great thing about Wing Chun. You can kind of keep safe. Again, it's a synthesis of everything that came before it. So it learns some lessons. And you can kind of keep safe and keep healthy
Right, which I think it's very appealing to a lot of people because it's hard to get injured, and if you have a job that's physical, maybe, and
Yeah, it's hard getting injured.
It can be disastrous, an injury. I mean,
Yes, it could ruin your life.
yeah.
And I think that more people should take into consideration when they're getting into various martial arts that, especially like jujitsu and stuff like that, and the injuries of that nature can ruin you for life. And it's a serious matter.
Or another, depending how you train, of course. But if you do sparring and get hit a lot, that's probably not ideal for a rich life.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting though is most pajama kung fu martial arts, when you kind of expose them to like a real fighter, you know, like a guy like Scrap in the Cage, an MMA fighter or something, right? All of a sudden, we're going to get their pajamas beat off them.
Right? Fast too. Yeah.
So, Wing Chun, however, stands a much greater chance of withstanding the beating, you know, and kind of getting in there and possibly doing something about a martial art that doesn't necessarily focus on physical contact.
Right. That's right. Efficiency still. Yeah.
And I say that purely from experience. I've had a lot of contact with jiu-jitsu players, MMA players, and other Wing Chun players, boxers. I take a lot of contact, and it's probably confusing for them because they're wondering, you know,
right?
The energy, the energies are different. I'm not trying to win, but at the same Chun system, right? And might be a bad thing for them, right? For the most part, not murderous intent. And
till emotions get involved.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have to focus on that kind of stuff and fighting, but I have exposed myself to it a lot. At work or in a ring or an age. Yeah. This is a lifelong thing. When the matches are over, when the trophies are over, when jumping in the cage is over, when all that stuff is over, I'm still training.
Right.
Yeah. And sustainably, and trying and promoters what wind up doing is sort of coaching and teaching the next generation of fighters how to mess themselves up. I mean, they certainly do damage mitigation stuff, but still, at the end of the day, you're still receiving way too many punches to the head, and stuff like that. I even question how good it was for me to receive X amount of kick punches to the head over the years. Martial arts and martial artists. And I think especially when we show great appreciation, then perhaps we'll get greater appreciation, from other martial artists.
Yeah.
I think and I think that appreciation is an important aspect of building a community of not Wing Chun practitioners, but also
health and martial art.
Yes, because they're all valuable, really special, but not without all those martial arts that came before it, So, Luna, do you need to go potty then? Because this is the most attention you give me ever. Yeah. So you got to go potty, don't you? All right, guys. We got to go potty. We got to get ready for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Done talk.
Thank you.